I know this is really, really an important subject for you, and especially your generation to hear. Why do you feel like we need to talk about this?
I think we need to talk about this because she played a word about a week or so ago from David Wilkerson, I think in the 70s, and everything he prophesied is happening today. And I remember one thing he said is he said, R-rated movies will be on TV. And when I heard that, I go, well, yeah, duh. And then it hit me and I was like, oh, that's so sad because I'm living in a generation that's almost been raised in this. So it's almost normal to us. And I think the church has become desensitized. And because we don't understand the spiritual connection to it, we don't think, oh, I'm engaging in idolatry, I'm engaging in paganism, and we think, oh, that's of the past. But, you know, Solomon says there's nothing new under the sun. And one of the things I was thinking as I was sitting here is, one of the things that really struck me about the nation of Israel is I really believe the church has to learn from them. And one of the things about the nation of Israel was under great rulers, even thinking about Solomon, they would turn back to idolatry. They would build the temples back to Moloch and Baal. And so what can the church learn from Israel? How do we not fall into idolatry?
Yeah. Well, that is why I wrote this. You know, one is to recognize even Solomon fell into it.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy thing.
And he loved God.
And he was the most wise person. So you got to guard yourself. You know, interesting thing, because there's no other alternative. You know, it's like America didn't know what it had until it was gone.
Until it was gone.
You know, like, okay, let's take this out. The only thing that was preventing all this was the gospel, was the power of Jesus. The only thing that was preventing, because that's all you have in history. You have paganism. So one is to recognize it, and the other is to, as Joni says, we have to stand in it. We want biblical times. You know, biblical times. This is what was in biblical times. Elijah dealt with the gods. Moses dealt with the gods. Paul dealt with the gods. We stand, and he's stronger. But we have to, because the thing is, the gods want to take over everything. And if you are intimidated and you believe, then you're going to let them do that. We have to stand, and now's the time to turn.
There's a story about Paul in the Bible where he was in the city of Ephesus and he started preaching the gospel, and the people who were making the idols of Artemis got threatened, and there was a whole mob ready to kill Paul, and Paul wanted to go in there and preach the gospel, and they stopped him from doing it because they knew it wasn't wisdom in that situation. But that's the kind of boldness we should have.
Yeah, like Elijah, spirit of Elijah. Yeah, absolutely. And I'll give an example now, because we're going to go into an even more explosive realm. But I know I can do that here.
Yes.
Because you guys said there's no compromise here.
Do it.
And that is okay. And people are dealing with, even church families are dealing with this. What we're going to talk about. You started with it. That is, there was something strange about this goddess. And in the book, she has another name, which is called the Transformer. And that is, it says in the ancient tablets, I looked at it, it says, I am a woman, I am a man. It says that this goddess has the power to, this is in the ancient text, has the power to turn a man into a woman and a woman into a man. So get this. So as you have the sexual revolution, but as we start getting deeper, this other part of the goddess comes out. That's what we're dealing with now, or we're all dealing with. And that is that her agenda is to masculinize women and feminize men. Now this happens you can see this in long before the trans thing, it was happening anyway. And so she will seek to take women and say, you don't forget about men, we hate men. She actually rebelled against men, she was against their authority. So she will seek to turn women away from men and against men. She will seek to feminize men and to emasculate them. And so you notice in the spirit of this culture that hates men. In fact, if a man acts masculine, they'll say it's toxic masculinity. If a woman acts masculine, they'll applaud that. What is that? That's crazy. That's the spirit of this goddess. She blended sexuality. She confused gender. That's what she did thousands of years ago. She's back. She's back as more than ever. And so one of the things, let me tell you how startling this is. Her ancient priesthood was men who dressed up as women. That was in her temples. They dressed up as women. They spoke as women. She's the goddess of androgyny. It says she adorns men as women. She adorns women as men. So you actually have back then, you had cross-dressing men. Now, what do you have back now? This is a sign of the goddess. She is seeking to make her priests come back. And when you look at culture now, you see this happening all over. This is the sign of the goddess. And not only that, but she's after the children. All the gods are after the children, because if you get the children, you have the culture. And that's why everybody watching, I don't care, with the grandmothers, parents, you're dealing with this in some way. I'm dealing with this as a parent, And so, and actually in Christian homes, there are now children who come home and say, I'm not a boy, I'm not a girl. It's happening. So another thing is, she's also the goddess who transitions people. It says, I turn one to the other. She herself was female, but she had masculine attributes. And she actually, her priests were not only wearing clothes, many of them were surgically transitioned.
Really?
Her ancient priests, yes. They were, well, we have a name for it. They were surgically transitioned, and that affected their hormones, everything. Actually, when I looked at these, I'm doing research for the Return of the Gods, there are ancient tablets which says that they danced before her carrying scalpels, like a symbol that they had been altered. So now, what is happening? When you see this happening in the culture, it means she's back. And not only, but here's where, remember the warning of Jesus, that when the spirits come back, they're gonna come back worse,
Yeah.
Well, she's not just after the priesthood, she's after the entire generation. She wants the entire generation to be her priests. This generation is more confused about sexuality than any generation. That is the work of the goddess. And that's why the only answer is Jesus. It was only Jesus who actually cleansed the culture of this.
See, and I was just thinking, because Mom, you were talking about how those children's hospitals are trying to do surgeries on kids.
Yes.
There's like this really big push for kids. And I was watching this video of a principal of an elementary school, and they caught him, it was Project Veritas, they caught him on tape basically admitting, if anyone's Catholic, if anyone's conservative, he's like, I don't hire them at the school. They have to support encouraging basically kids to transition. And so it's like, why are there books out there and sexual education courses trying to cram this stuff when there's so little? I mean, there has to be something, like you said, behind it.
It's spiritual, and it's madness. And we even liberals are saying this is madness. What would possess an adult to do this to a child?
Yeah.
This would possess them. And now let me open some things. I'll just throw in.
Open it up. Go for it.
Okay. This whole movement, everything that we see today of gender, pride, all the things that have changed, same-sex law, it began in New York, and it was called Stonewall. And that was this uprising at a same-sex bar. We all know about. They were raided. They revolted. They tried to set it on fire with the police inside. They tried to storm it, and that's where you get everything. That's where you get the parade started from. That they celebrate Stonewall. Well, the amazing thing is, when I looked at this, I saw all the signs of the goddess were there that night. These, I'm just going to touch because we can't get into it.
Okay.
But for instance, when the goddess went to war, there was a sign of the lion or the lion's head. I won't go into it, but actually at Stonewall, the sign of the lion's head manifested when this happened. Number one. What happened? No. Secondly, there was something called the dance of Ishtar, the dance of the goddess. When she was warring, she would dance, according to the mythology. Actually, that night, in the middle of the riot, they start dancing. The men start dancing as women, and they start singing words that are the words from the ancient tablets of this goddess. The very thing, they tried to break Stonewall. That was the bar. Well, actually, in the mythology, in the writings I found of the goddess, it says you are the goddess who breaks the stone wall. You break the stone wall. It actually comes from that.
Wow.
And there was actually a woman who triggered the whole thing that to this day, everything we have, triggered it. This woman was like an incarnation of this, I won't go into it, of this goddess. And the goddess was called, you are the storm. You call storm over the earth. You are the storm. The woman's name comes from the word storm. The woman who started it all. And one other thing about this, even the timing, there's so much here, I'm just touching, even the timing of the day it happened was linked to the days of the goddess. Happened near the summer solstice. She was the goddess of the full moon. The weekend was the weekend of the full moon. It's mind-boggling, but everything that has happened came from this. And the other thing is now we're dealing with parade. We have parades, it's taken over our culture,
Right.
June, taken over our culture.
Yeah.
This goddess was the goddess of parades. It says she started parades. And the parades of the ancient world started at the Ishtar Gate. This is her gate. The Ishtar Gate had two arches. It was covered with bricks, one arch big, one arch small. Stonewall, that began, everything you see with marches began at Stonewall, still exists, that bar. It has a brick-covered facade, double arches, one large, one small. It's the pattern after the Ishtar Gate. What were the parades of the goddess like back then? I found the ancient descriptions. Men would parade as women, women would parade as men. It was a parade of gender bending, full of colors, full of makeup, all that.
Yeah.
That's exactly, it's the return. See, we're thinking this is new. This is actually the sign that she's returned. Let me go further with this. And that is that there was actually, when I looked at what was the time, there was a certain time of the year that she possessed an entire month. She possessed this month in that culture. And that's where they had processions, all that. Well, when I look back at the writings of St. Jerome, Christian, St. Jerome, and he speaks about what was happening then. And he identifies it. He says that it happened in the month of Junium, or June. June. So we have, June has returned, and this is a month of business. Let me throw another thing quickly.
The whole month of June is like driving us crazy.
That's what she had.
Yeah,
it was linked to the month of Tammuz. And the other thing is that there's another sign that was linked. We see all over the culture, we're seeing the sign of the rainbow. We know it's of God, but it's been taken away.
Yeah.
All over everything. That was the sign of the goddess. That was the sign of this goddess who changed sexuality. And they don't know it. And there's a very dark thing behind it that if anybody knew that, they would not be waving this thing. I won't get into it, but it goes back to the mystery of the goddess. So this is, and I'm just going to throw one more aside, and that is that even the Supreme Court decisions have been altered by the gods. Let me give you, there was 3 major decisions linked to altered sexuality. One was in 2003, legalizing same-sex sexuality. One was in 2013, striking down the defense of marriage. And the last one was 2015, when marriage itself was altered. We all remember that. Well, the time of the goddess was June, and particularly the end of June, particularly at the time of the summer solstice. The first decision happened end of June, time of the summer solstice. The second decision, end of June, month of Tammuz, the month of the goddess, and at the summer solstice. The third one, defense of marriage, when marriage was changed, end of June, summer solstice, they all happened, each one happened the same on June 26th. Each one happened on the same day. June 26th is the day that Stonewall was sealed, the Stonewall riot. Now the Supreme Court has no idea what they're doing. This is not that they meant it, but here's another thing here. Remember the night when all over there were rainbows, when marriage was altered and the White House had the sign of the rainbow? This is a sign of the goddess ownership. Well, the White House was lit up in a rainbow. That night was the 10th of Tammuz on the ancient biblical calendar and Babylonian calendar. In the ancient writings I found in the tablets linked to the gods, it says that day, the 10th of Tammuz, is the day devoted to cast a spell to cause men to love men. The day that's in it. So this is serious, this is real, this is mind-blowing, but it's all real. And we are now in a war or in a fight. And I will just say this, and you know, Joni, and you know, Rebecca, every time, I'm going to uncover this, but there's always going to be hope, because that's where we're going.
Yes.
But to say this, we're in a war right now, spiritually. It says we fight not against flesh and blood, we war against principalities. Remember, the gods, these spirits, were cast out by the gospel, by the word, by Christians. So they have a vengeance. They're back with a vengeance. Their focus is on Christians. Their focus is, they were cast out by the word, so they're trying to cast out the word. They were marginalized by Christians, so they're trying to marginalize Christians. So that's why all this is happening with religious freedom and Christians are being vilified. It's the spirit of the gods. And they're trying their ultimate end game. At the beginning it was like, just be open, be tolerant. That was just to get in the door. Once they're in the door, the gods are that every knee shall bow. Remember Baal and Elijah? Every knee shall bow. So that's why they want to not just take over. They want, the spirits want everyone, including Christians, to celebrate what they celebrate, to bow down. And we have to be like Elijah. This is our day. Listen, to me, this is the most exciting day. This is why I wrote the book. Number one, because we have to know every believer is dealing with it. I don't care who you are. You can be on an island. You're going to deal with it.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we have victory, but we have to know what we're dealing with.
Right.
And so to know that, we have to be bold. And also, if there's anything in your life, I'm talking about the people out there, that is linked to the gods, whether it's pornography, whether it's abortion, it doesn't matter what it is, carnality, you have to get it out of your life. Because you have to be free, because God wants to bring revival. The fact that Roe, and on the day that this was finished, Roe versus Wade was cracked open. It's not the end of abortion, but it's a crack in the altar. In ancient times, when there was revival, the altars were broken.
Yes.
So God wants to bring revival. But when there's revival, he always deals with the gods. So that God wants revival, but we have to be bold. We have to be on fire. We have to be repentant. We have to be total for God, and God will use you out there like Elijah, like Esther, like Moses, like Paul. You will be used. This can be our greatest time. When the dark gets darker, the light shines. And when the gods come up, the true God we have is greater than all the gods of the world.
Yes. Is God peeling back the curtain?
Yes.
I mean, don't you see that happening in government,
Everything.
in churches?
I believe that.
I mean, it's like whatever was hidden, God is showing us clearly, and those that have ears to hear and eyes to see recognize exactly what's going on.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, in the end times, everything comes out. You know, the dark gets darker, but the lights are to get brighter. That's us. That's us. Yeah.
Okay, well, there's so much more. We didn't get to touch on the technology, God. We're going to do that on Table Talk in a little bit. But that was so good. I want to give you this because there's so many that have called. You really want the blessing of God in your life. You want to be utilized in this time in the season. Some of you are waking up like you're waking up. Some of you are like going to run for positions on the school board. Like, how important is it for Christians to get involved in the political arena?
If we don't, the darkness will. You have to get involved. That's why I wrote this. Yes, that's the point. And I'm also praying that people not only get it for themselves, get the return of the gods themselves, get it for people in your life who are in this, because it's to set them free. This is the hour.